ॐ घं गणपतये नमः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुर्साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। ॐ परब्रह्मणे विद्महे शिवतत्त्वाय धीमहि तन्नो मोहन प्रचोदयात्. Namaste everyone. Welcome to another session on Hello Life, where we discuss about our journey from outwards to inwards. Yesterday we saw a subject where a saint asks a boy what he wants, and the boy asks for liberation, and that is granted. And how gurus are so compassionate or compassion incarnate that they deliver everything. Today, we are going to explore a different aspect of Guru. To start with, I would like to recite a Sanskrit shloka, explain the meaning, and then go towards the subject. The shloka is Stavaram Jangamam Vyaptam Etkinchit Sacharacharam Tatpadam Dharishitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So, the meaning for this mantra is whatever exists, either moving or unmovable objects, the entire creation itself, that reality is revealed by Guru. And I bow to that particular Guru. Basically, the Guru Tattva. This shloka appears in Guru Gita. It is Stavaram Jangamam Vyaptam Etkinchit Sacharacharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I bow down to my master Mohanji and all the other masters who have walked this path, giving us an opportunity, teaching us through their lives and through their messages as to how important it is for us to focus more inwards, become light, and merge in the light. So, today, our subject, we are asking two very important questions at the beginning. Yesterday, we saw how a master asks, uh, how a disciple asks, and how a master deliver. Today, two important questions. First question is, if the masters are well and truly divine, then why are they suffering? Why do their bodies suffer significantly? That is first part of the question. The second question that we are going to experience today is, if a master can absorb pain, then why do disciple suffer? Why disciple also carry pain? So two-part question. The first question is, if the masters are divine, then why are they suffering? Then the second part is, we have seen and heard that the masters absorb pain. If that is the case, then why do disciples suffer? These are the two important questions that we are going to experience today. To begin with, when we take birth, a normal human birth that we talk about, why do we take birth? Karma necessitated this birth. Few days back, we spoke about the entire chronology of creation, where a karma triggers an impression, which triggers an inclination, and karma provides that time and space for the desire to happen, which then leads to thoughts, words, actions, followed by karma again. So the cycle continues, which is why you and I are here. Our karma brought us here. There are some unfinished, unfulfilled impressions present, which needs to be completely fulfilled and finished off before the liberation happen. However, When an avataric birth or a master birth happen, they do not follow the same pattern of a karmic cycle because their purpose is dharma. While karma triggered our birth, they are born, they happen for resurrecting the dharma or supporting, helping the children, their children, disciples predominantly, to see through the light. That is the reason why various masters happen at various point in time, including at this very moment. There are hundreds and thousands of masters supporting, holding hands of their disciples and to help them see through the light. Mohanji calls this out beautifully. He says, most of these people didn't have to take birth at all. They didn't come to experience or enjoy earth. They came to deliver. Their whole purpose is to give to the earth, to the people, and to the society. Master's job is to deliver to earth, to the people, and to the society. Sometimes we see what they deliver. Many a times we do not see what they deliver, for what they deliver is far beyond human mind comprehension. We cannot fathom that. Even if they were to explain, we will not be able to experience it with the limited awareness that our mind delivers. Okay, so masters appear on earth to support their children, their disciples, to the society. They are here purely to give to the three aspects. They have nothing to take. Now, we spoke about the first part of the question. The first part of the question was the suffering aspect of the master, correct? One very well known, documented, heard experience is that of Swami Ramana Maharshi from Tiruvannamalai. He suffered from cancer, incurable disease. During the final stages of Bhagavan, people around him have seen how much struggle Bhagavan had to go through. He couldn't move his arms, he couldn't sit, he was in deep silence all the time, any which ways. This visual of Swami Ramana Maharshi suffering disturbed the disciples a lot. They didn't know what to do. They tried various things. They tried doing massage, they tried giving him this medicine, that medicine, but nothing worked. One day, a devotee, out of pain, and he couldn't tolerate this, right? To see a master suffer. It breaks us down. Like when when I saw and when I see Mohanji, when he takes up pain on his body, and I see through how it is being processed and how it changes his whole physical structure in some instance, and sometimes inside as well, it pains a lot for us. So this devotee asks Ramana Maharshi, do you have pain? And Maharishi says, yes, I have pain, but there is no suffering. He goes on to add that for suffering to happen, you need mind. I do not have mind, and hence there is no suffering. Pain exists, but there is no suffering. So, in Ramana Maharishi's case, we know that the mind aspect surrendered to the self aspect with his whole introspection of who am I? He completely dissolved into the self aspect, that there is no mind aspect separate. So there was no suffering. There is nothing that is left to feel the suffering. Only awareness prevailed, only peace prevailed inside the body when Ramana Maharshi was dying. The pain was there, was acknowledged, but the suffering never existed. So, the takeaway from here is the suffering happens at the mind level. Sometimes, even for the silliest of wound or something that we have, we lie down on the ground and, crouching and crawling and whatnot, suffering in pain, because it is the mind that basically projects that pain, which in some instances is much more than the actual pain itself. Your mind is making the suffering immense than even the pain. So, Ramana Maharshi was an example for how he separated these two aspects, the pain aspect and the suffering aspect. You will be able to see the same in Swami Ramakrishna Paramahamsa as well. Swami Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, towards his last few months and years, suffered from throat cancer. So much so that he could not swallow anything, he could not eat anything, he could not swallow even water. So much unbearable pain. Everybody tried doing multiple things. Again, because you don't want to see your master go through this state. You do not want to see this master, you know, in that state where they are unable to consume anything, and you see the pain in the body. They are not suffering, but we are suffering because we have our mind. Ramakrishna was also going through that painful process, painful days. One Pandit suggested him to focus his mind, Ramakrishna's mind, onto the throat, and he will be able to heal the throat. How ignorant was this Pandit? Ramakrishna immediately said, "How can I withdraw the mind from the lotus feet of God for this worthless cage of flesh?" His exact words. How can I withdraw the mind from the lotus feet of God for this worthless cage of flesh? He calls the body as cage of flesh because we are literally trapped. I am the body. We do not have the realization is body is body. There is a soul aspect that drives the show. We associate ourselves with this, the physical aspect, the sthula sharira, right? When the Pandit said, out of love and compassion anyway, right? It was not as if like he did not know, but you at that desperation, you want to heal your master, you want your master back in action. But Ramakrishna very beautifully said that I cannot take the mind away from the lotus feet of God. The mind aspect we are talking about here is not the normal human mind aspect. For a master, a Paramahansa who attained that status, there is no mind aspect at all. He was Kali himself. Ma Kali was inside him completely. He was so absorbed in that state. That is the state that he is referring to, that my mind is fully focused on the lotus feet of the God, that I do not want that focus to go away from there to the cage of flesh. Then Narendranath, who in the future went on to become Swami Vivekananda, the disciple of Ramakrishna, who spread his work across the world, who lived very short time, just like how Adi Shankara lived for 32 years. Swami Vivekananda lived very, very short time, again in 30 plus years. But the level of accomplishments that he did was phenomenal. It is not an exaggeration to say that the current world knows Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa through Swami Vivekananda. Through the disciple, many people got to know from both the east and the west of his guru and the greatness of the guru, Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. Now, Narendranath, he is still Narendranath now, and he tells, O Guru, just ask the God to allow you to eat. We cannot eat knowing you cannot eat. Please do this for us. A very sincere, humble request from a disciple to the Guru. Guru closes the eyes. Guru opens the eyes after a long pause. And then Guru started laughing. Then Guru said, God laughed at me. God said, can you not now eat through the throats of your disciples? Can you not eat through the throats of your disciples? Was the question of the God to Ramakrishna when he closed his eyes for a few moments, and the answer came. Then Ramakrishna tells Narendranath, stop suffering. Because the disciple was suffering. He could not eat because the Guru could not eat. Guru says, stop the suffering. Eat a little more. That will be my share too. So, he is asking the disciple to eat on his behalf, or in other words, when the disciple goes to Guru as well. Even in the unbearable agony, they always are very good at cracking witty jokes, such as what Ramakrishna Paramahamsa did when he had the laughter after talking to the God and telling that, why can you not eat through the throats of your disciples? The concerns for the people who were around him were real. The master pain was real. But masters do not care for themselves at any point in time. They live always for others. They are not the body. They are fully aware of what is running the show. Body is suffering, body is suffering. That's about it for them. Body is in pain, not the suffering part. Body goes through pain, body has pain. That's about it. No suffering whatsoever. Right? So, what do we get out of these two stories? Both of them had pain. Both of them did not had any suffering. Pain is what life delivers to the body. Suffering is something that is manufactured in your mind aspect. Suffering is at mind, pain is in the body. Mohanji says, suffering is always connected to the mind, not to the soul. The soul doesn't suffer. Suffering is when you resist. This suffering when we resist is not specific to the body pain or bodily pain. It is the suffering, the resistance that we have at a mind level, which causes that excruciating pain. The masters' lives are examples of how separating the body and the mind helps us transcend through the suffering. So we have addressed the first part, which is, why are they going through this pain and suffering? The answer is, the body goes through the pain. They are well aware of it. They are well aware that they are not the body. The suffering does not exist at all because they have collapsed their mind. Now, we address the second part of the question, which is, if masters are compassion incarnate and they are divine births in itself, right, in themselves, why are the disciples suffering? Now, we did briefly say that it is our karmic agenda That is the reason for whatever that we are undertaking. But when a master takes over you, when does that happen? When there is a complete surrender, when a disciple does not exist, master takes over. Then the disciple does not go through anything at all, because it is the master who operates at that point in time fully and is in full control. We'll see this through two very important stories. The first story is of Bhagawan Nityananda from Ganeshpuri, a great master, amazing avatar. His favorite disciple was Swami Jnanananda. Bhagavan Nityananda asked his disciple to go to Kailash, cross the Nepal, go into Tibet, but he made him go barefoot. A disciple who has completely surrendered will have no second thoughts. In a way, they do not operate at a mind level at all, because Guru's words are command from the universe for them. Follow that blindly, no questions asked. Janananda Swamiji starts going to Tibet, the snowy mountain full of rocks, extreme weather conditions. People in Tibet could not recognize who he is or who he was. They started throwing stones at him. They started taking sticks and beating him really, really bad. At the same time, hundreds of miles away from Tibet, in Ganeshpuri, Bhagavan Nityananda's body was covered with full of bruises. What does this tell us? That while the body of Jnanananda is taking a hit there, Guru is taking it all upon himself. So the disciple is safe there. That whole thing gets transferred to Guru. This is in the biography of Bhagavan Nityananda. These were all witnessed testimonials that people have written. Bhagavan's body was covered with full of bruises. What does this tell? If the surrender is absolute, a guru does not have an opportunity but to protect his disciple, and they will go to any level to protect their disciple, even to death, which is the second part of the story that we are going to talk about today. We all know Shirdi Sai Baba. Most of us know Shirdi Sai Baba, who lived in a very, very remote place in Maharashtra in the late 90s and early 1900s, 1890s and 1900s, who took Samadhi in 1918. One of Baba's favorite disciple was Tatya Patil, was almost like his nephew. Baba had so much of love towards Tatya Patil. 2 years before 1918, Baba tells to one of the devotee that Tatya will die on Vijayadashami day in 1918. Tatya will die on Vijayadashami day in 1918. This was told by Baba to a disciple 2 years before. Then 1918 came, the Navaratri period started. Tatya Patil fell gravely ill. Vijayadashami arrived. That day, Tatya Patil's pulse starts going down very, very rapidly. At the same time, a very curious thing happened. Tatya averted death. Baba took Mahasamadhi. In a way, Baba took away Tatya's pain and suffering and whatever karma that he had to, including his death, upon himself. Which is why I said, when a disciple is so deeply and intricately connected to Guru does not have a choice but to take all of that, including if they were to die, they will. That's what we learn from Tatya Patil's connection with Shirdi Sai Baba. A very, very important lesson on how deep the connection and the surrender needs to be. This leads to a beautiful Sanskrit shloka again. Ananta samsara samudradhara nauka kitabhyam guru bhakti dhabhyam vairagya samrajya pujanabhyam namo nama Shri Guru Padukabhyam. What does this shloka mean? This is called Guru. This is a verse from Guru Paduka Shrotram. Guru Paduka, the holy feet of Guru. So the meaning of the shloka is very simple. Salutations again and again to the sandals of my Sadguru, the boat that carries the infinite ocean of these worldly affairs. Ananta samsara samudra dhara. Samudra is ocean. Ananta samsara. Ananta is infinite. Samsara world. So you need Guru Bhakti, to cross this ocean of worldly existence and to hold on to that faith and surrender. And you have to worship at the lotus feet of Guru. Very, very simple. Your Guru is the compassion incarnate here. He is very dispassionate. And to that holy sandal feet of the Guru, you bow. The reason why this shloka is very important is to connect to the living examples of how a master deals with things. So far, we spoke about Ramana Maharshi, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, then Shirdi Sai Baba, Bhagawan Nityananda. I would like to address some real world experiences that I have personally seen in some instances. These stories now that I'm going to tell you or articulate is stories that I have heard of my own Guru Maharaj, Shri Parabrahma, Brahmarishi Mohanji. The first story. On the 7th of October 2022, Mohanji lands in Slovenia. Christopher Greenwood, his assistant, is driving the car with few people sitting in the back. The car faces a head-on collision in Slovenia. The impact was so deep that the airbag came and directly struck Mohanji's heart. Immediately, the rescue crew came and they admitted him to the critical cardiac care unit, triple CU, critical cardiac care unit, because the impact was so deep to the heart region. Doctors said this is a serious hit and he has to remain in the hospital for some time in the unit, in the critical care unit. But Mohanji was there in Slovenia only for a short visit. He had to go to Serbia because there was a 11-day program. So many people had signed up to meet Mohanji, to welcome Mohanji, and to spend time. Imagine this happened just right after the COVID period, or COVID was slowly withdrawing. Now the world started functioning as world, not as individual countries having their own walls. The free flow of travel and other things happened. And during the COVID period, disciples of Mohanji did not had an opportunity to physically meet and be in his presence. So this was a huge opportunity. And a master always delivers when there is a sincere call from the devotees. So the sincere longing call of the devotees got Mohanji out of the hospital, whereby he discharged himself at his own risk. He actually signed up saying, like, I am withdrawing at my own risk so that the hospital does not have any legal issues later if something were to happen to Mohanji. 2 days later, he flew down to Serbia. He conducted the 11-day program. People with him, his assistants, and all the others who were there at that time, who were close enough, could see how his body was going through the suffering. He was very frail. And even at that time, just like how Ramana Maharshi said, the pain is in the body, but I do not have suffering. Mohanji said exactly the same thing. He said, pain is there in the chest, but I am not suffering. Then, with a smile, he said that I had to run away from the ICU because it was more suffering and more depressing sitting in the ICU. I am more than happy to be outside in the nature and to be with you all. This is Mohanji. This is something that I have personally seen as well, that he does not care for himself at all. Many a times, even when there has been like life threatening situations, he had always done his job and he had always kept walking. In fact, I still remember once, I think it was Devi Amma, who was one of um, the people through Satya Sai Baba continues to even channel today. Baba, just before leaving the body, told to his very close people that after I depart, I will be operating through two people. One was Swami Gopal Baba, the other one was Devi Amma. Devi Amma is considered as, she is the daughter of Sage Agastya and Ma Lopamudra. She lives in Bangalore. Amma is very deeply connected with Mohanji. And she said, Mohanji, look after, slow down. And Mohanji said, no, Amma, you are there to protect me. Appa, as Agastya, is there to protect me. I will do what I have to do. My job is very clear. Purpose is more important for me. So, he, in spite of having a head on collision, a direct impact to the heart, did not slow down, delivered the 11-day program, and came back in spite of all the physical pain that he endured during that phase. Fast forward, in, I think it was in June 2025, Mohanji had just started delivering weekly talks. So in May, Mohanji said, the travel is getting really tight and busy because of various project commitments and whatnot. I would like to spend 1 or 2 hours every week with people who are really serious about liberation and dissolution. Right? This was the objective. Started in May. And he said, I will meet everyone every week. Skeptics, including me, were like, Mohanji, you are so busy, because he does not sleep in the same bed for more than 10 days. Nowadays, it is becoming even more rare. Like, even 1, 2 days in a bed is a big deal because of the constant movement. We were like, how would you be able to do it? Mohanji said, well, the will is there. It will happen because the purpose is all that matters. The constant travel and constant pressure, etc., resulted in Mohanji's face. All of a sudden, the left side of the face was very swollen and it was very visible to people present, and it just started growing, growing, and growing. The Ganeshpuri event was happening. We had just secured a land in Ganeshpuri, and the pujas and other things, rituals were happening there. The rituals continued. Everything got over. Mohanji came to Mumbai, and from Mumbai came to Bangalore. He, in between, undertook all the programs that he had signed up for. All the appointments, etc., were fully attended to, not one cancellations. This is, anyone who knows Mohanji will know that if he gives a word, he sticks to it. There is no two way. There is not a single time has Mohanji bailed out of a commitment that he has made. He promises, he delivers. Now, goes to Bangalore, gets admitted in an hospital, and they say it's Bell's palsy. There is a partial facial paralysis. This happened on a Thursday or a Friday from memory. Sunday is the weekly talk. He is in the hospital, partial facial paralysis. One side of the face would not move, constant dripping of water from one side. Monji said, "No, I will not stop the weekly talks." He appears on the screen. It was a Zoom call, face affected, water coming through the eyes profusely. He sat there for the entire 2 hours, answered every single question of people with full clarity. Bell's palsy had been destined as a full brain stroke for someone else. That was the actual case. Somebody else was meant to have a full brain stroke. Mohanji took it upon himself. This is not my words. These are people who, through Maitri, witnessed what was actually happening. And they had documented testimonial on this aspect. It's still available for people to go and check. Somebody else was going to have a full brain stroke. Mohanji took it upon himself as partial facial paralysis. He took it completely, reduced it, and bore it in his own face. Mohanji, being Mohanji, never mentioned about it. He, in fact, as a matter of principle, never talks about what he does. For the simple reason, he says, even if I say, you are not going to believe in this fully. Because unless you experience it, it is just a word that you are hearing, right? If you tell me something, it is just a knowledge or an information for me at that point in time until I experience it myself fully. So when Mohanji says that I did this, I did that, it is an information. And what is the proof that whatever I am saying is true or false? Nothing, right? Unless you experience it, it is not going to be fair. He does not talk about what he does, but people around him, they see, they know what exactly is happening. Again, they see only from their perspective or the minute opening that they get to see the consciousness or the omnipotency of Mohanji or the master. Master is complete, he is light himself. They see from that narrow crack whatever they can and they explain. That's about it. Now, I call these two stories of Mohanji only to say that what we as disciples take some time, we feel it is terrible pain and suffering and whatnot. We suffer a lot, not just because of the physical thing, but even otherwise, mentally, we suffer a lot because there is a lot that is sitting in the head. Suffering is all that we have or we undergo from morning till night. The moment you wake up, suffering starts. Until you go to bed, suffering is there, and then it starts again. But what we do not realize is, as Shirdi Sai Baba tells in Satcharitra, why do you have to take so many lifetimes when I am here to compress everything and finish it off in one go? The more closer you are to the master, more closer you are to the fire, everything has to come out because it is one in a lifetime opportunity, lifetimes of opportunity to eradicate everything and to merge into that supreme light. So we go through that pain. And what we do not realize is what we take or what we see is a tiny minuscule of what a master has already taken it upon himself. Today's exercise is, when we are in such circumstances, when we start feeling the suffering within us, either through physical ailments or through any situations or whatever that happens in our life, pause for a second and ask yourself the pain versus suffering. Why are we suffering? Where is the pain? That's about it. More and more we face this suffering head on, more and more the suffering is going to come down, more and more stability prevail. And the pain, it is the responsibility of the master any which ways to absorb. They do their job silently, knowing with you knowing it or unknowingly, doesn't matter. They do their job. With this, I would like to conclude today's session, requesting you all to have that awareness and to separate out the pain and the suffering, for there need not be any suffering because we are applying only the mind there at that point in time. Let the pain, surrender it to the master. It is the headache of the master to remove the pain. I surrender everything at the holy feet of my master, Shri Parabrahma Brahmarishi Mohanji, and whatever I said today was all through his grace, and to that lotus feet I surrender. Kayena vacha manasendharirva buddhyatmana va prakrite swabhavat karomi yadhyat sakalam parasmai narayanayeti samarpayami. Mohanji charanam sharanam prabhati. Thank you everyone for today's session and hope to see you tomorrow. Thank you.